Well, hello, fellow human. Welcome back to Unchained Humanity. Today is a great day for our first episode on community, the fourth pillar in our quartet of freedom: body, mind, spirit, and community. We're building the foundation here, strengthening our body, freeing our mind, remembering our spirit, but we can't forget the community tenet. This is what most personal development gurus, even moralistic ones, don't include in their teachings. An individual liberation without collective integration is but an illusion. That's why here we talk about integral development and not personal development. Because we're not born in a vacuum. We emerge within a family, a culture, a social context that shapes us from the very first breath. We are social animals by design, and it's through the group that we solve our greatest challenges, create our deepest meaning, and unlock our full potential. You can be the most successful or even the most enlightened individual in the world. But if you live in a sick society, under oppressive systems, disconnected from authentic community, your freedom is partial at best, fragile, temporary. Just visit any country with rampant inequality and see the cost of all these riches. You'll see the wealthy hidden inside armored mansions and condos, without being able to freely enjoy the outdoors because they took the money from everyone else. And now the streets are rid with violence, crime, trash, and desolate landscapes. That's why I live in Scandinavia, this social experiment of society. With all its flaws, it's arguably one of the most equal places in the world. And let me tell you, it really works. We hardly have any poverty, any crime, comparatively, of course. But by all measures of safety, an old lady can walk the streets any night completely unafraid. And unfortunately, we can't say the same even for the rest of Europe. And how valuable is that? Priceless. I couldn't also believe it when I first came here. Schools without fences, windows with no curtains, door houses left unlocked, etc. It's really a matter of perception of what's possible. And it's really this change in perception that can be the trigger to a new reality. Once I was in a taxi in a third world country, talking to the driver about the ubiquitous presence of police everywhere in his city, and he said that it was to keep the security. And I asked, so does it work? Is it safe? And he said, no. And I said, interesting. In Denmark, you can stay there for a whole week and never see not even one police car. However, it's very safe. And he replied, of course, you must have cameras everywhere. And I said, we don't. We just have virtually no crime. Because the money is spent on educating the people and taking care of them instead of repressing them. It seems so obvious in this part of the world. And this is only possible because they chose to live as a society, taking the community tenet very seriously. So for all that it's worth, don't think about this crazy utopian impossible mission, because it has been tested again and again. And places like this are just a testament of how it really works. And so when you look around, all you see is that this investment in the general good turned into a virtuous cycle where everything works, there's enough for everyone, and people work towards the improvement of the whole society together. They have understood something really simple that the rest of the world is apparently still coming to grips with. This is the power of community. And you can only be truly free when your neighbor is also liberated. So in our quest to bring about a library of knowledge to help humanity set free, one human at a time, starting with you, we have to understand that personal development is not enough. Trying to outcompete your brothers and sisters will just lead to more of the same. Some insane sane. We've already tried that. Look at where it brought us. So maybe it's time we try something different. By now it should be clear that there are no borders to suffering. The problems just spill everywhere. As we see with diseases, pollution, poverty, war, refugees, sooner or later it ends up at your doorstep, knocking at your door. Make no mistake. And so we need collective evolution. We rise together or not at all. Like any organic system, we cannot heal one part while ignoring the whole. A healthy cell in a dying body still dies. That's why this pillar matters so much. Community is the only way forward. Humanity's liberation requires us to look beyond ourselves, to understand how we've been divided, how we've been conquered by Machiavellic division, and how we can start working together once again and reclaim our power. Freedom is not a solo journey. It never was. So let us unite. And so today, about consumerism. Out of the many topics we're going to discuss within this theme of community, I chose to start with the phenomenon of modern consumerism, as I see it recurrently coming up as an explanation of many of our problems. We have all heard the expression bread and game, an old saying at least dating back to the Roman times, to mean just keep people fed and entertained, and they will stay complacent. This is and has been for a long time any dictator's best tool. But today we took this to a whole other level. We're now living in Bread and Circus 2.0. Total madness. And it seems to be working. As long as the system is able to provide that constant flow of dopamine, no one is asking questions. NPCs go about their days scrolling away, shopping away, consuming into oblivion, never asking real questions. Just getting by like a fake flock of snow, exactly the same as the next one. So counter nature. And when they're not consuming, they're working to get more money, to be able to consume more stuff they never needed in the first place. This whole story of consumerism explains our current state of affairs in so many ways. It's more than a distraction. It became a sort of economic religion. People work for this megacorporation who controls all the other corporations. They get paid with one hand and then end up giving it all back with the other, plus interest. Everyone seems to be happy to overpay for those shiny, useless products they never needed. But we're made to feel like we need them through constant religious capitalist propaganda that makes us believe it's never enough. It will never be. Trends designed to expire every few months, mining our precious attention spans on the way, and everyone falls for it. Not because we're stupid, but because it's all most people know about life. They've conditioned us since little kids to be forever customers, and we're successful at that, and to identify ourselves according to our consumer status. No wonder everyone's lost, because no matter how much they make and spend, they can never find themselves. Some call it progress. We can also call it life theft. Like in the Matrix, a machine sucking the life energy out of humanity. Luxury has never been more revered than in these days of major inequality. How does that make sense? Poor workers who saw their purchasing power decline decade after decade now voluntarily hand over their hard-earned money for these shiny products with obscene profit margins. worshipping brands like devotees to an abusive cult. And everyone's always chasing the next rush, the next way to bang a buck, to go spend it on more flexing, or to just keep it in the bank as medals of greed. Aye. How heartbreaking to see the poor consensual slaves giving everything to their slave masters in a desperate attempt to join the privileged class, in which they will never be let in. Even more perverse is that the very fact that they give all their time and energy to make money, and then they give all their money to keep up, is exactly what keeps them behind. The perfect loophole. And no one talks about this. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not being invited to the table, my friend. You are the meal. And those that are comparatively well off, who live like little tasteless kings, are just pawns, puppets, the proof that quote unquote anyone can make it. They've been allowed to exist just to legitimize the rigged game. Can't you see? The big sharks who really rule, they need these poster children to keep everyone else playing. You play within the rules and pray one day the big luck is gonna bless you too. And then you'll get to be on top of this inhumane pyramid. Humanity used to have big dreams. Not anymore. It's just a matter of consumption. This religion of individualism makes everyone stay awake at night, dreaming for the day in which all this exploration pays off, for the day that they are finally allowed in the winning circle of the rigged bargain. And so they keep feeding the same system that oppresses them. They wait all their lives for the time when it's their turn to rule arbitrarily, to exploit inconsequentially, either by having hit the jackpot or by being favored somehow into the privileged groups. They dream of having maids and chauffeurs, having the jealousy and the fake validation from others who would die to take their place. And this sick illusion somehow keeps everyone going. They dangle a few exceptions in front of you, so you keep grinding, keep spending, keep believing that one day it will be your turn. One day you'll get that validation. One day you'll get that praise. One day it will be enough. But if you just give it 5 minutes of thought, you realize that it won't happen. Because the rules are made precisely to favor some individuals in detriment of the whole. And the whole is us. So they will try their best to keep us dumb, divided, and dependent on their system. Duh. Have you already matured to the fact that the game is rigged? Or are you still dormant? When will it be proof enough for people to wake up and unite? That individualist gig does not work. We've tried it. Open your eyes and let go of those egotistical parasites that get a free lunch on your life force. And the propaganda is so brilliantly Machiavellic that now everyone believes that the lie is real, the expectable, the best we can do. So what can we do? Of course, we're not educated in civil matters and the history of civil and peaceful conquests, because that's dangerous for power. But this is the thing, you know. If you are able to consume anything, consume this. Go learn of examples of people that have organized themselves through history. how peaceful movements have successfully conquered the freedom some of us are privileged to enjoy nowadays. And no, I'm not talking about disorganized manifestation that leads to nothing. Do your part, educate yourself, and stop being a thoughtless NPC, philosophical zombie. Consume consciously, be kind, be righteous. Make use of the categorical imperative. Treat humans as the goal, not as the means to materialistic goals. Because the system needs you exactly where you are, working, consuming, worshipping at the altar of brands that see you as nothing more than a stupid revenue stream. The day you don't, the whole thing crashes. So wake up. And instead of spending your time and energy supporting these psychopathic brands, support movement like this. And you're investing in your future. This individuality-based consumerism is driving our ruin in so many ways. Just look at our garages. All that old stuff we haven't looked at in years, stuff we never needed in the first place, but one day we were so eager to buy it. And we still don't throw it or give it away because we still identify with the stuff we possess. We're just operating on a functional degree of hoarding disorder. Meanwhile, the planet bleeds quietly, cries in silence, holding the weight of our lust and thirst for owning more. How ungrateful. We were given everything, and we're destroying the most beautiful gift of all, life itself. And somehow we still get blamed for that. Talk about gaslighting. You, the worker for all your life, the dreamer, the family member, the one trying to just get by, you're told you need to recycle. But then you even find out that only a tiny percentage gets recycled, while the hypocrisy gets on the jet like you change shirts. No level of recycling will ever solve the problem. We just need to stop this addiction, this maniac, insatiable need for unsustainable growth. The current state of affairs is nothing but preposterous, and we will never set free until we address this addiction. And no, brother, no, sister, you're not the problem. What I'm trying to say is that you are the product, and you have the power to stop this by changing your behaviors. Don't be the product. Don't be such an easy target. Don't say, what can I do? I'm just nobody. Imagine 8 billion of nobodies waking up to this realization. We could change the world again in a matter of years. We have done this before. And we can't wait for things to get solved on their own. It's not going to happen. Because the machine has no conscience. It only has targets. And our freedom is in the way of its goals. So we need to stop listening to the machine, unite, and put some real honorable humans in charge. And there are so many honorable ones out there. Until then, we'll just keep running with no end in sight, recovering from one crisis into another, buying, scrolling, feeding the machine with our time and attention, our data, our soul. Meanwhile, psychopaths feed on the silence of those that see but are complacent. So seeing and not acting is even worse than not seeing. Open your eyes and do your best. Be your best. Invest in your community value. In the meantime, as we conquer back our sovereignty, we're up for a treat. Imagine everyone getting along in the pursuit of this world we know it's possible. Even under oppression, how meaningful will this journey be, surrounded by the warmth and support of our people? Even before we win, we already won, because we're together. Isn't that what we live for? What we work for? What we try to be our best for? to share it with our tribe. That will be the opposite of what we're living now. That will mean fulfillment, belonging, nurture. Priceless values no one even remembers anymore. We've never had access to so much stuff, yet we're living in a total meaning crisis. This will also be solved. It's not by chance that everyone's affected by some level of depression. Of course. What do you think is a better customer? Someone happy and fulfilled, or someone with a huge inner hole to fill in their hearts? Deep down, you know that most people will be extremely satisfied with a simple life. So why is everyone so depressed? It's this parasite of individualism, and we gotta get rid of it. The greed was instilled in our indoctrination by the psychos in suits. The common folk is not like that. And you know that. You feel that. And you can go ask anyone. People just want to live simple, happy lives. So this should make you want to act and unite, to know that those same slave masters, not only they abused us for generations, but they gaslight, turn the blame on us, making us feel flawed, naturally lacking virtue, which we don't. That's not what defines us. It's exactly the opposite. We are good, and that's why we get crushed, like gentle cows easy to milk. But we also have the lion in us, and we have to be able to distinguish between being ruly and pacific and being an enabler for abuse. We've seen this before, and we've conquered these forces before. So let us wake up. The moment we wake up, the moment we stop consuming and start uniting, the light crumbles by itself. We break the spell. We remember that we were born for greatness, and we just stand tall, revealing the height that we always had. So that's where your role begins, not in rebellion, but in remembrance. When you return to truth, to virtue, to knowing and doing what's right, the machine loses its grip. A man or a woman living in purpose can't be bought or controlled. And the moment they can't buy us, they lose their power. That's the one thing they fear the most. So go find your virtue. Act in conscience. Find and build your tribe. Abandon the self-destructive side of the ego and learn how to get along. Unite, educate, stand up. Rejoicing knowing that this is all it takes. So that is all for today, fellow human. Stay tuned in the series. Thank you for your support. Until the next one, stay together, stay human, stay free.